Great, thank you for the intro. Hello all and welcome to the Fireside Chat on Decentralized Cloud, Securing the Future of Blockchain Data with me, Suja. I'm a crypto journalist at FX Empire. FX Empire is a leading global financial news portal delivering up-to-date market news and analysis. Joining us today, we have Mr. Jack O'Connor, Sales Director, ASEAN, in Snowflake, based out of Singapore. A bit more about him. Jack had spent the last 3.5 years with Snowflake in the United States, focusing on companies that are building large-scale data applications. His interests today focus on how to empower Web3, DeFi, crypto, and blockchain companies to rapidly scale and delight customers with differentiated data products and services. Welcome, Jack. It's my utmost pleasure to have you for the Fireside Chat today. How are you feeling?
I'm amazing. Thank you, Suja, for the introduction.
Great. So before delving straight into the topic, let's hear more about Snowflake and how it's working with blockchain-based companies. Over to you, Jack.
Wonderful. Well, before I get started, I do want to thank the Wild Digital team for having us at this wonderful event. It's great to virtually meet everyone, and I'm excited to talk a little bit about Snowflake and the energizing work we're doing with to empower Web3 companies. So at Snowflake, our mission is to mobilize the world's data, and Web3 companies in particular sit atop an incredibly rich asset, and that's data, and a lot of it. So what we do is we work with them to store, analyze, and secure these assets so that they can focus on accelerating time to market, driving revenue growth, and mitigating risks associated with hosting that data.
Sweet. Would like to include a bit more about how a decentralized cloud is different from a centralized one. And also, why do we need a centralized data storage? Correct me if I'm wrong, Jack, because I'm not an expert in this.
Oh, no, go ahead.
So the centralized cloud is, as far as I'm concerned, or maybe I have read a lot of articles, is vulnerable to many potential security threats, such as malware, app flaws, and man-in-the-middle attacks. So decentralized cloud storage will implement client-side encryption that will allow users to share and transfer data without the help of intermediaries in their storage. I hope I'm correct. So coming back to Snowflake's, could you tell us a bit more about how Snowflake's data cloud works?
Certainly. So Snowflake is composed of two parts, if you will, the platform itself, and then our data marketplace, which is effectively an app store for data. It's a data network driven by the underpinnings of our platform's capabilities. So at a high level, Snowflake is a cloud agnostic data platform available on all three cloud providers across 30+ regions and growing around the globe. And effectively, we are one platform for all your data. That's structured, semi-structured, as well as unstructured data, capable of powering all your workloads from data engineering, data science, analytics, and data sharing, as well as everything in between. And we do this for your 4-person startup in a garage to the largest enterprises in the world. And what we did more than a year ago is we verticalized our motion because we heard from our customers of very specific data challenges that needed solving. So last March, we launched the Financial Services Data Cloud, which is this connected network that enables financial services firms, and particularly digitally native Web3 startups and institutions, to thrive in this very data intensive, highly regulated and competitive environment with the help of Snowflake's platform capabilities and the growing amount of financially relevant data that is natively available within Snowflake's data cloud. So, which leads me to the second part, which is the data marketplace, which, as I mentioned, is effectively an app store for these data assets. And the demand for data is perhaps most apparent within financial services, who are craving, and now in particular, blockchain data for investment and due diligence purposes. And I mean, it isn't exclusive to finance. Last year, we heard Tesla investing, MicroStrategy, and now governments are demonstrating their interest in this burgeoning industry. So, however, the challenge is, even though this data is publicly available on the blockchain, sourcing it and analyzing it actually has proven to be a much more difficult challenge. So we've been working with many innovating companies in this space to derive incredible insights out of this data and bring them on as data providers, and then matching them with these data consumers on our platform to create magic, pretty much. So these data providers are able to list their essential market data sets, deliver them to a network of other firms and applications powered by Snowflake, and securely share and collaborate with one another, promoting an environment of true data democratization, which I think is pretty cool.
Absolutely, it's great to hear that. And of course, I do accept that decentralized cloud is a burgeoning factor, and it's great to see that Snowflake is at the forefront of delivering it. So going a bit into Snowflake's approach, and how is it different from others in the industry?
Well, it's really all about the architecture. Our founders spent years locked away building this platform from scratch. They separated storage from compute to take full advantage of the scalability and elasticity that the cloud has to offer. Furthermore, they significantly minimized the management aspect with our cloud services layer. This removes things like maintenance, tuning, provisioning, and more out of the equation. So these companies can focus on building faster, better products for their customers. So although this sounds simple, it's a fundamentally different approach than other providers have taken, and is why customers have chosen us and continue to invest more in building their data clouds with Snowflake. But why we are different, rather than having a laundry list of different products to choose from, we go with the approach of being simple and ease of use. So when you use Snowflake, as I mentioned, it's one platform, and it's this interconnected data network, or what we call, the data cloud. And within that data cloud, you have three things. You have that data marketplace, or this place to securely and seamlessly distribute data assets across the globe. And as you mentioned it, Suja, the second aspect is promoting strong security and data governance. And it was built in our foundation because we are one platform, and this enables companies to consolidate dozens of environments across the enterprise or within a startup and innovate faster while adhering to these strict regulatory requirements. And then lastly, the platform's elastic performance engine enables you to scale resources from gigabytes to terabytes, petabytes, and exabytes to meet all team needs, eliminate overhead, maintenance, and the tuning of legacy environments, so that you can just focus on building.
Great. So it's great to hear that instead of multiple platforms, Snowflake is one and all, and that it provides all the solutions in one platform to your customers. Well, as we spoke before, a centralized cloud comes with a slew of challenges, and so is the decentralized one, right? So what challenges do they pose? And as a leading cloud platform, how do you address these challenges?
It's a great question. So for Web3 companies, the blockchain is effectively an append-only ledger. Every time a transaction is completed, it is added to that ledger. So that means this is an append-only data set, meaning data is never removed, it only grows. And you can go back in time to see all the historical transactions and have that full transparency. So therefore, the challenges, I would say, on how to fully leverage this data to rapidly innovate and grow can quickly become a daunting mountain to climb if you don't properly prepare and plan in advance. And we're seeing this with engineers today on how they're pushing the boundaries of these blockchain protocols. For example, Solana boasts transaction speeds, I believe, of something like 65,000 per second, which is around 10,000 times faster than Bitcoin, 4,000 times faster than Ethereum, and even 2.5 times faster than the world's most widely used payment rail and arguably most engineered, which is Visa. So this data challenge will not go away. It will continue to grow exponentially over the years because crypto is young. We're still in the early innings of this. Something like only 0.1% of all the world's engineers are in crypto, which means we still have a massive amount of intellectual capital that can go into this. But Snowflake is here to solve and was built to solve these problems, particularly around the struggles around leveraging big data. But when we think about companies and the challenges they're facing, I typically generalize them into 3 buckets. And that's make money, save money, and mitigate risks. So the good news is, though, these companies are sitting on the answers, which is the data. They just need to figure out how to fully leverage it to succeed. So when we think about those 3 challenges, when we talk about making more money, I'm referring to building differentiated products, accelerating your time to market in a highly competitive space. So for example, perhaps you can analyze user behavior within your product, and this can help guide the company on where to invest, divest, and drive user acquisition and engagement. And an example I like to use is a company I had the pleasure of working with previously called Flipside Crypto in the States. They work with blockchain protocols or DAOs themselves to democratize this on-chain data to the community. And they give them these tools to answer questions into what the community cares about most, effectively guiding these DAOs and delivering them the insights needed to drive ecosystem engagement and growth, as if acting like a lighthouse at night, guiding the way. So that's the first challenge. The second challenge would be saving money or reducing time or resources associated with managing and maintaining this underlying data infrastructure. So from upstarts to institution, time is money. And in this industry, it couldn't be more relevant. Some say a year in crypto is 10 outside.
Right.
We actually have a similar saying here at Snowflake, where we treat quarters like years, and therefore there is little margin for error or time poorly spent. Minimizing the data challenge can actually be a strong tailwind to your dev team, who can now focus on building and innovating and delighting customers with a differentiated experience. And lastly, the last challenge is perhaps the most important, and that's mitigating risks. That's associated with data security and governance. When you're able to build everything and secure it within one platform and analyze on-chain data, that can lend itself to better anti-money laundering, AML, or know your customer KYC. So companies can better secure their data, but also the flip side of that is regulators now have the opportunity to have full transparency into these blockchains and empower safe innovation and promote financial freedom for the mass populace. So I could go on and on. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The fun really begins when you discuss specific applications of this data and how it can be uniquely used to drive business outcomes.
Perfect. So as you said, cryptos are growing exponentially, and every day a new crypto or a crypto company is popping up. And you had also mentioned about Solana. Solana blockchain is, of course, going in heaps and bounds, especially in the last few weeks, because Solana was listed in the OpenSea NFT marketplace, and the price was surging up. And it's great to hear how Snowflake is addressing each and every risks and mitigating all the challenges posed by the decentralized cloud space. Sweet. So we would also like to hear about Snowflake's growth within the Web3 startup space, and what excites you about the industry within ASEAN specifically.
Certainly. So, I mean, everybody on the call is fully aware that last year was a roller coaster for the crypto, blockchain, and Web3 space that saw new heights and a massive amount of innovation. Additionally, like real world examples of crypto adoption are everywhere, from NFTs to gaming to enabling even social capital to Ukraine. These, to me, are highlighting the fact that Web3 is here to stay. And I was reading a report from crypto.com looking back on the year of 2021, and they mentioned that the global crypto population increased by something like over 175%, rising from like 100 million at the start of the year to nearly 300 million in December. And they expect that number this year to reach the 1 billion mark. So during my time in the States, I had the fortunate opportunity to witness some of these companies that were a part of that growth. And I'm even more energized to replicate those successes out here and work with companies who are pioneering this space because of the tepid growth of innovation here in ASEAN and Singapore and South Asia as a whole. Tech in Asia recently put out a report around the funding of Web3 startups last year in the region. And it totaled something like $1.2 billion over almost 100 deals. And in 2022, so far, we're at nearly 300 million with 30 deals. So the speed is accelerating, and the diversity of use cases is absolutely astonishing. Like I said, we're seeing gaming, NFTs, DeFi exploding, even putting logos on sports arenas and enabling social capital. I mean, I'm certainly missing many more nascent use cases that are popping up. But really the question becomes, how can these platforms accelerate their time to market, differentiate themselves, and leverage this massive amount of data to grow their business? And I'm very excited to meet these teams, learn more about what they're building, and discuss how we can empower their growth.
Great to hear about it. I'd like to ask you one final bonus question, I mean.
Hit me.
Does Snowflake have any plans to launch its own utility token?
I'm a few rungs removed from that type of discussion. However, I can't say it's anywhere in the realm of the possibility. We do charge on Snowflake credits, but that's a whole that has nothing to do with tokens.
Great. And do you have any plans to expand within the ASEAN region in any other country?
Snowflake specifically?
Yes, Snowflake specifically.
Oh, yes. I mean, we are investing heavily in this market. We are very bullish on the companies that can tap into this data source or to this rich asset. And ultimately, we are looking to mobilize the world's data, and whether that be with startups, with enterprises, we deliver that. We deliver those positive business outcomes across the value chain. And yeah, we're really excited to continue that moving forward. So I do want to thank you, Suja, and the Wild Digital team for putting on an amazing event to bring together the real minds in Web3 that are driving crypto adoption. But like I said, we're in the nascent stages of this, and I'm really excited to learn more about what you all are doing in the space. At Snowflake, we have a phenomenal team of experts here in Singapore and across the globe who are eager and excited to mobilize the data within Web3 and empower this growing global adoption. So should anyone have specific questions, please don't hesitate to use us as a resource. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Happy to have a chat.
Great, Jack. It was amazing talking to you today and knowing how Snowflake works and what are your plans and how are your plans to achieve the peak. All the very best for Snowflake to reach the heights. And before closing, I'd like to give a closing remarks on cloud computing. So today we have discovered more about Snowflake's both blockchain-based decentralized approaches and cloud solutions, and the role they play within crypto exchanges, data engineering and analysis that will foster economic growth in the open markets. Thank you, Jack. Anything else you would like to include before closing?
I just appreciate the time and thank you everybody for joining. Looking forward to connecting with you all at a later date. Hope everyone has a great day.
Thank you, Jack. It was amazing talking to you. Thank you for
All right, take care.